This is C.R.P.H.A. Today's video is going to be kind of combined with the Humanitarian Advocate and the Health Advocate. Um, we'll start with the Health Advocate. Be that, of course, we just put the new look not too long ago on our Facebook page. The one thing we would like to mention is that still we're going to be asking that every state, even the state of California, to ban the sale of cigarettes. New York, we pray and ask that New York continues to ban the sale of nicotine products straight on through. Even the vape smoke type of things. And also Texas is said to use the ban when it comes to the EBT thing, when it comes to soft drinks. Basic fact is that you're going against the people's rights. Yes, they will use the EBT logically, at least the ones that have enough sense to, which I'm not saying all people don't, but those who have food in their house are able to legally and within the Constitution use it for getting snacks if they so choose. If they have enough food and whatever else they need for house cleaning and what have you else already in the house. With the fact of the rent going too high, then basically you can see that the people can only afford so much. Granted, yes, but the one thing is that you cannot simply put a ban on something just because it's not really applicable or what have you else. The one thing is that the ban just goes against the Constitution. Yes, there might be the fact of saying, well, what about people eating healthier and all this sort of stuff? Yeah, we're all for that. Here at C.R.P.H.A, we're all for that. But the basic fact is that you cannot go. Well, even if they have enough food, they still have to use it for grocery type purposes, right? They cannot use it for buying just simply soft drinks and snacks, along with the grocery market, food shopping, and whatnot for cleaning supplies and laundry supplies and whatnot else, right? And the basic fact is that's against the Constitution. So Texas, we ask that you do not go forward with that ban when it comes to the soft drink ban on the EBT card, the food stamp card. And thereby, that's a constitutional thing that you're going against. And also, the fact of the asbestos situation, we ask at C.R.P.H.A Health Advocate to, and you notice we didn't say Health Watch Advocate, we shortened it. Anyway, we ask that the people who make the asbestos come up with something a lot more, shall we say, more sanitary and more on the aspect of not in any risk of health within the human body, and even if they were to touch it at all, because there's ways you can do things where you're able to touch things, and you're able to do the one thing of just making a substance that's not harmful but still able to be useful, like the fiberglass type of siding, or one that spongy crap that has fiberglass covering it, for insulation, that is. But also there's there's many other aspects we have the technology to do and make and create to that's not harmful to the human body and the human's health, regardless. Because for so many years, since 1920s and 30s, all the way through the 50s and 60s, and a good portion of the 70s, the government has hidden the health risks and chance and the deepen the very deep aspects of how hazardous the asbestos is, especially in the naval yards and among other things like in our Navy ships as well. And yes, people are now, ever since the 1980s, people started picking up more on information on that, especially with the fact that the government was hiding that aspect from the American people. Again, bad move on the government part of that, but we can do better on that. And I know the government knows that they can do better, and I know things can be handled a lot better. And also, getting back onto the aspect of the government per se, in the United States government, is that the Democrats seem to think that putting a gun ban by simply going against the Constitution, which basically gives every American person the right to bear arms. That's been tossed around left and right, and it's even been tried in various different states, including California. Hasn't succeeded. The liberals think they can go against the Constitution anytime they see fit, just like Obama did, and just like Jerry Brown did. And guess what? You go against the Constitution, you're just proving C.R.P.H.A.'s point that you, liberal idiot Democrats, don't fucking care about this country, and you don't care about the American people. Thereby, you are a unconstitutional political party, liberal Democrats. And you prove my point. Of everything I've said about the Democrats, and even Nancy Pelosi, you've proven it, even with your little Democrat buddies being alongside of you and behind you by you announcing that of the supposed ban against arms by going against the Constitution, for one. Of course, I know you don't mention that, do you? You're afraid to, because you know that the American people know that the Constitution supports people who have a right to bear arms. But there's one thing. There's one thing that has not been done, and why the black market has made it easy for many people to do things illegally by getting weaponry, various different types. And this is on the humanitarian aspect. And you need to get the hint. Do not go against the Constitution, but there's one thing you can do that doesn't go against the Constitution. And that is make laws tougher. Make it even tougher for people to get those, and where they have to go through psychological tests, where they have to go through various things to know that they're sane enough to handle any type of gun or any other weapon for that matter. That's not against the Constitution, I guarantee. The one of simply just banning it, ignoring the constitutional right of the constitutional amendment, and when it comes to the American person's right to bear arms, that's against the Constitution. So liberal Democrats and even Nancy Pelosi and whoever the hell else of the males who have given Nancy Pelosi and the other liberal bitches their balls, and where the liberal bitches, including Nancy Pelosi, put the male and Democrats' balls in their purses. You need to follow the same aspect. Make things tougher to where it would be to where it's not so easy for people to get guns who would later be found to be in more than psychologically unfit to carry any type of firearm or any type of weapon for that matter, or and to see if there's any way to where there's a leverage to where, okay, this person can handle the weaponry of this particular type of gun, but this person can't, that sort of thing, due to the psychological psych- diagnosis or psychosis or whatever the hell else. But the basic fact is, you cannot simply go against the Constitution. You do that like Obama and Jerry Brown have, you are showing my proof that the American people are plainly seeing that you can care less about the Constitution. You can care less about the American people. You can care less about the country being the United States of America, which basically means that the liberal Democrats can be disbanded for being unconstitutional type of type of a political party, and no country is going to welcome that. And that's the truth. So Nancy Pelosi and the other liberal idiots better take heed to what I say. And here's another one too. To make sure that there's no way that people can get the weaponry of any type of gun and all that, we need to do something that has to do with getting rid of the black market. Notice the term black market, meaning illegal, sneaky, underhanded, and most of all against the law. We, the Humanitarian Advocate of C.R.P.H.A, we are not against the law. We follow the law 100%. And I know the liberal Democrats have not followed the law, but we also follow the Constitution, and the liberal Democrats haven't. The liberal Democrats haven't followed the Constitution. That's why Jerry Brown, that proof from point, like I said many times in our advocate videos, is that Jerry Brown has gone against the Constitution more than once. Obama has gone against the Constitution more than once while in the White House. Even with the health care plan that he promised not to be unconstitutional, but yet he turned around and said it's going to be unconstitutional. So therefore, he went back on his word. So therefore, also, he's going to go straight to hell for it. So is Jerry Brown for what he's done to the state of California, including when it comes to the high tax plan, and including when it comes to the unconstitutional aspects of the sanctuary city and state situations, and among other things too. Because he doesn't know how to govern the state right. And also, let's see now, Gavin Newsom has done something. Seems like he's turning into a Caucasian Obama, if you excuse the term. And we don't mean to be racial here, but the basic fact is that he likes the limelight just as much as Obama did during his presidency. The only difference is that from what we can tell so far, currently, is that Obama needed a teleprompter. Gavin Newsom doesn't. That's the only difference so far. But here's the thing. Gavin Newsom doesn't realize that the homeless problem will continue if things are not appropriated much sooner and not later. Not even much later. If things are not appropriated right for those who are not able to handle the high cost of rent across the state, granted, yes, we announced that there was a law to be passed that would put a cap to a certain percentage when it comes to the high cost of rent. That's not 100% Gavin, guaranteed though. But the one thing is, what could be 100% Gavin is that he gets rid of the high tax plan. He puts the Prop 39 back into the school funding for our youth's education in the state of California, and also he gets rid of the sanctuary state and city, and the sanctuary city stipulate, the standing of the sanctuary city and state thing, which is against the law. And well, against the law when it comes to the Constitution aspects is be that, of course, is against the Constitution, and thereby the sanctuary city and the sanctuary state thing needs to be completely off and taken off, or we will plainly see that Gavin is also an unconstitutional politician, and I don't think he wants to be viewed as that. Do you, Gavin? The other part of it is that with all of that said, the one thing that Gavin also could do is push it harder to where there's a lot more low income rent rental complexes than there have been, because 2 to 3 ain't gonna cut it. And that's starting from Sacramento, the Bay Area, as well as Silicon Valley, which is Santa Clara County, and San Mateo County, and also in Alameda and Contra Costa and Walnut Creek City and County, is along with Concord, which is within the Contra Costa area as well, in some respect. So, Gavin, you don't have very much time to make that happen. Guaranteed. And dealing with the homeless situation making and allowing the police department to clear out the homeless camping over in Stockton is not gonna be 100% solved solution, especially with the fact of what Sacramento Mayor Daryl Steinberg said. He said in many years ago a number of years ago actually, that he was gonna make it to where there was no homeless on the streets. Twiddling your thumbs, aren't you, Daryl? Even after saying that, you're still twiddling your thumbs even to this year. Not doing a damn thing. You also mentioned after I wrote to you saying that you would make it to where there's way more low income, even as the rent increase was still happening, and it's still happening even though, because the rent cap hasn't been put into law 100% officially yet. It's only been announced that it passed. That's it. It takes a while for it to be into law unless there's an agreement between politicians in the capital to start with to make it happen right after it's voted in to a higher percentage of agreed versus the ones that don't agree. Meaning, of course, once it's voted in to where it passes, then it goes into law right as it passes. Then that's one thing, but it hasn't now, has it? Because there was no mention of that, especially when the news media mentioned it. And also, when it comes to the road rage show of people using the road, the like freeways, and a number of people use or bay bridges for a gathering of sorts, to where people just make donuts in the middle of the road as some sort of like event, which basically is against the law. There needs to be tougher sanctions on that, especially. Yes, people still have the constitutional right, but when it comes to disrupting traffic, among other things, when it comes to people trying to get home in an appropriate time, no matter what time of day or night it is, that needs to stop. Seriously. Where there's no more donuts being spun on our bridge roads, as well as our freeways and other city and county roadways and highways, as well as the freeways and bridgeways as well. That needs to stop, seriously. Because if it happens on a bridge, for example, you know what could happen without anybody being any the wiser. That one driver that makes that certain donut can make one false move and mow down people as well as he goes right over the bridgeway, right into the ocean, ending his life without even noticing it happening. Because it would be happening out of his control, or even her control. Nobody wants a loss of life for any given reason, or no matter what the fucking reason is. So no more skid road donut burnouts and all that right in the middle of the damn roads or bridgeways or anywhere. No matter what anymore. You want to have a party, do it within the Constitution, and do it where there's no disturbing the peace and no blocking the pathways or anything else for that matter. Or I will have it to where I will make sure that the C.H.P., among other cities and counties and states, top sheriff, top police department, along with the C.H.P., make tougher sanctions go through to where they become into law, which is not against the Constitution. That's for safety aspects and much, much more. And also, the one thing we also need to keep a lookout for is those who are missing, because of course there's one young girl that's missing, and she's been missing for some time now, according to an East Coast according to an East Coast a news report on Facebook. There was a little girl missing, but let's make sure that doesn't happen, and we can put even tougher sanctions on those who try to abduct our youth. Those who try to abduct our youth will be put in the chamber of lethal injection, or simply the old Sparky, known as the electric chair. And there will be another one, but I'm not sure if it's going to be tied in with citizen advocate and or with health advocate, um, but humanitarian advocate is the main thing here. But of course, we've seen that we tied in the health advocate. The health advocate aspect was for that particular reason that we mentioned earlier. If you have any topics that you want us to address and talk about, we'll please be sure to comment on the comment section below, and we will look it over. And this is C.R.P.H.A, Humanitarian, and tied in with our C.R.P.H.A health advocate. We want to salute those firemen, firewomen, and police officers, both males and females, and those troops and the ambulance and the paramedics and the ambulance drivers and workers, to keep doing the job that they're doing, and also to our troops that have served and were lost and who died for our country, and those who came back after serving our country the way they did, and even as they still do serve our country. For those who are still serving our country in the military and armed forces, we salute you and thank you. This is C.R.P.H.A. Please stay safe and do not do anything illegal or stupid. Be that, of course, both on that aspect. Have a good day. And may Heaven Father bless the American people and the United States of America.